And today's episode of The Government's Not Your Friend is a tragic one featuring the beloved Peanut the Squirrel. So if you haven't heard the story about what happened to Peanut the Squirrel, which I find that odd because everybody's talking about it, this story caught like wildfire on the internet. Rightfully so, you should care what happened to this family and their pets. It says here, Peanut the Squirrel, beloved pet and internet sensation, euthanized after being seized by the New York State government. Now, this is a popular squirrel. We're talking about like 2 million followers scattered throughout different social media platforms.
We just learned that they have euthanized Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well.
10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom like a criminal. After they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
And of course the government comes out and blames it on national security or public health safety. A spokesperson for the DEC said in a statement that the agency started an investigation after receiving multiple reports from the public about the potentially unsafe housing of wildlife that could carry rabies and the illegal keeping of wildlife as pets.
My house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And then they took them and killed them.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this for 7 years? Why now suddenly did they show up with a search warrant and take these animals?
We haven't a clue. We don't know who made the complaints. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal.
If only there were people in 2020 warning the public about emergency authorization acts and government overreach. It's not bad enough they just took the raccoon and the squirrel. No, they had to go through their belongings, their property, to see if they were up to no good. Because this is the cause and effect. They can do this, so they can do that. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And frankly, it doesn't matter if you live in Tennessee, Texas, New York, Washington. If you get yourself on their radar, in their crosshairs, you will have the full force of the state come down on you with all their resources. I will say New York's probably one of the worst states for the nanny apparatus, and let me tell you what I mean by that. Your Karen next door neighbor that's still wearing a mask and gloves in 2024, that still clicks on CNN to watch the latest updates about this and that, they can narc on you, they can snitch, they can rat. And the next thing you know, you have half of an army showing up kicking down your door. You think this is bad? Imagine what they do for a piece of plastic on your right. People are saddened, people are pissed off, and they're mad at the government for just now realizing they have this much control over them. Because this can happen to anybody. You got a pit bull, your neighbor calls the cops, the next thing you know, you got SWAT. I know I got a lot of people that follow me in law enforcement, but that just following orders shit only goes so far. It's on you, the good guy. We are all we got. Citizens need to stay together. Yeah, we kicked down the door of a single mom's house, mother of 5, because she was illegally parking in her own driveway. You good guys in law enforcement, the bad guys are outweighing you. You need to step up the righteousness. Guess when I thought I was losing faith in humanity, I look at this comment section of this video and, you know, it kind of gave me hope.
For you.
It not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police...
So don't be black-pilled, because there are so many people that think just like we do. I call it the tyranny effect. The more tyranny caused by the state that surrounds the individual, the more they feel the squeeze of the state, the more they push back. the more they start asking the right questions, the more they start realizing something is terribly wrong with my country. Because at the end of the day, the only change that can happen is with you, the individual. And if everybody starts focusing on themselves, it can help the collective. And the more that we fix ourselves, the more we can push back against them. People are starting to realize if they can do this to a family and a squirrel and a raccoon, what can they do to me? Tomorrow's the election, so if you still believe in the system and partake in the system, go make change. Especially in New York. Man, what a hellhole. Let me know how you feel in the comments. RIP to Peanut and the raccoon. Thanks for watching, and like always, f*** the government and welcome to the Kook Club.